Welcome to episode 5 of Backtales. Woo! Backtales. Woo! Do-do-do. Everything that you can't think of. Backtales. Woo! Getting really mad at food service people. Backtales.
So yesterday was my 1-year anniversary. I've been on testosterone for a year now, which is incredible to me. That's a very long time. I have the best housemates in the world, and they got me like cake and cookies, and they put up this banner. I have a very precarious camera situation. Oh, this is a bad setup. I'm totally confident. Okay. I asked some followers what they wanted to hear from me, and I got a few responses, so I'll try to go over those. Before I do that, I'll just real quick go over the physical changes, which aren't really going to be much different from my last video. I've really only gotten slightly more hairy, mostly in my legs, my like inner thighs, my crotchal region, I guess, a little bit on my stomach, a few facial hairs, not really much, mustache. My voice is a lot lower, obviously.
But now I actually physically have it in my hands. Feels good.
Yes! Awesome! Did it hurt?
Okay, should I put a band-aid on?
Yeah. I'm on 200 milligrams every 2 weeks. I don't know, does my voice sound any lower, do you think? I'm about to do my 5th shot of testosterone, and that's 1,000 milligrams.
I'm actually starting to see like actual real changes in my body structure. And let me tell you, it's a very weird feeling to have stubbly nose hair. I'm talking about my junk to the internet. It's not just the size that changes, how it feels has changed. Like I almost have to adjust myself sometimes. In my last video you couldn't really see this stuff, and then like it's not too impressive or anything, but at least maybe it's like somewhat visible now. My muscles have become more developed and larger in general. My upper body is stronger, more muscular. I don't know how well you can see this lighting. It's kind of wonky lighting. The biggest difference to me, surprisingly though, is like my forearms. Maybe just because I'm looking at them all the time. My hands are definitely noticeably different, which is kind of a weird thing to me. Muscular hands, muscular testosterone hands. Someone asked me to do like a muscle comparison. I think I have a video somewhere.
I mean, you know, getting better. My forearms are like much more sculpted looking. Like they feel really solid.
And I am intentionally flexing right now for the comparison. I'm not just like, look at my muscles. Yeah. One of my housemates the other day, she was like, whoa, your arms are so veiny. Were they always like that? Or is that from testosterone? I was like, that's completely testosterone. My arms before were like, there was no veinage going on. You can see it's pretty cool. This area is definitely like much more masculine. But yeah, I had one question from one of my Instagram followers. How's your period? Okay, that one is, I guess I'm kind of like an outlier with this because I actually stopped getting my period like almost like a year before even starting testosterone, which I probably should have seen a doctor about or like mentioned it to someone. But I guess since it wasn't like a thing that I was like, needs to happen and I want it, I guess I just like didn't think about it ever, which is probably not smart. I have no useful information about that for you, I'm sorry. What kinds of social changes have stuck out to you the most? Like even still at this point very androgynous looking. Like I'm small, I have kind of effeminate features, but then I have a very deep voice. So depending on the context, sometimes people have a hard time telling what my gender is. Even recently, like within the past week or two, I've had people misgender me. I interact with a lot of strangers at work, and that's really been like the majority of my interaction with people who I don't know, who aren't already my friends. Before I came out, when I was still presenting as female and very femininely for this job, because like, that's what they want, that's what you're supposed to do, I would get hit on by like slimy older dudes, and I would have to like go along with it and giggle and respond as if they were charming, and like I don't really have to deal with that as much anymore. But generally those same people, it's really nice to not have to play along anymore, number one. That's great. But number two, I feel like those same people who were doing that before mostly just seem, first of all, confused, often angry or upset in some way, or like hateful, and I think they just like don't really know how to read me or how to interact, which is fine. Like, I'm not interested in being like buddies with them. But yeah, I feel like people are often just confused, like if they're trying to figure out how to interact with me, because I think both my gender and age are fairly ambiguous. I don't know, I feel like I've had to navigate a lot of strange interactions, but it's fine. I feel like I've learned a good deal about people. My cousin's wedding over the summer, that was a very interesting experience because people didn't really know me. Most of the time that I was in that situation, people seemed to not really even look at me. Like, people would be talking to people around me and kind of just like not even. And I think either because of my size, they thought I was a child, or they couldn't tell what my gender was, and that made them unsure of how to interact with me. I don't know, something. There's something I haven't figured out. And then the reception came around, and I started dancing, and it was really weird because people started paying attention to me. People who were like ignoring me before were coming up to me and complimenting me and being like, "Hey, you're pretty good, you got some moves." I still didn't really know how they were reading me, but it was very, very interesting experience because, well, I've been in a relationship with Jeremy since before I started testosterone, and like we have a pretty consistent mutual friend group, and they're used to they know us, they're used to us being together, even like acquaintances and stuff, they know we're a thing. So like occasionally people will flirt with us or one of us, but it'll be like a joking kind of way. But at this reception, at one point, Jeremy wasn't with me at the wedding. These two girls, maybe like late teens to mid-20s or so, started like dancing up on me. I was kind of like a little, not shocked, but a little like, whoa, this is something that I haven't encountered in a while. And I'm not really sure like how to interact or like what to do right now, just because like I still don't know how they're reading me. I don't know, it was weird and interesting, and like I didn't really know how to respond, but it was cool that people thought I was attractive outside of like a very small niche, explicitly queer people. Another thing, like with men, there are these like social games that they're not really like acknowledged or discussed. I see a lot with guys who are like a lot bigger than me, will try to like assert their alphaness over me. Like, I am the big dominant, look at my trophy female. It's just very weird, and I just like don't really buy into it. I'm not gonna participate in some kind of weird like misogynist power struggle game thing. Like, I'm not gonna try it. Like, it's weird. I guess it just generally I've become more perceptive of how people interact with each other. Yeah, 1 year, hooray. I'm very happy with where I am and what has been happening, I guess, and how I am as a person right now. It's been a very eye-opening experience in a lot of ways. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. Cake is here, and he seems to think that I have become a part of the couch, and he's very confused, but it's okay. Oh, look, it's cake. Here. Just one more.